we'll transition right over to UW football here, moving it straight into Huskies on the gridiron. And team-related news on the 12th of May, Noah Ngalu entered the transfer portal. He is a sophomore defensive tackle, the third scholarship player to do so since the end of spring football, joining defensive back Jacob Covington, who actually announced his commitment to USC, as well as running back Caleb Berry. Ngalu had only played in 5 games over his 3 seasons with the Huskies, not recording a sack. So, obviously unfortunate to see anybody leave the program, but obviously if there's a better opportunity out there for these guys, you'd like to see them succeed. Sometimes it's just a change of scenery. Sometimes, the depth chart, it just doesn't work out for guys. So, best of luck to Noah with him wherever he ends up, as well as with Caleb Berry. Obviously, Jacob with USC now, joining. I forgot it. Terrell Bynum, I believe it was. Terrell Bynum is at USC now as well. So best of luck again to all those guys in the transfer portal, that they're able to figure out the best situation for them. On the 16th of the month, Edge Seki Afoa Asoeu. Again, if this is a name that I botched, please feel free to correct me on that. An edge rusher committed to UW out of JUCO. He's a linebacker from the College of San Mateo, holding offers from Buffalo, Tulsa, UAB, and UTEP. So more and more, it's really interesting to see the group of guys that obviously there's the guys that have been leaving UW, dropping commitments and such, but also the group that head coach Kalen DeBoer is bringing in, what those guys are going to be able to contribute, what sort of impact they're going to have on the program, whether it's being a guy who plays situationally, being a guy who maybe doesn't play at all and that doesn't pan out for him, or, a guy who comes in and steps up big. So welcome, Seki. And then on the 17th, just a little bit earlier today, or well, by the time this comes out, it'll be yesterday. On the 17th, linebacker Kris Moll committed to UW. He comes to Washington by way of transfer from UAB. He's a grad transfer. As a senior back in 2021, Moll totaled 20 tackles, but suffered an injury that limited him to just 4 games in 2020. During that season, that was shortened by COVID. It was all messed up. He racked up 59 tackles and 2 sacks. His sophomore season in 2019 proved to be his best with the UAB, totaling 103 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, and 9 sacks. So interesting to see the way that the seasons broke down, but obviously some unfortunate circumstances for Moll there. Again, I just talked about how interesting this group of incoming players will be for the Huskies. And, sticking with the linebackers, I'm interested to see how Moll plays, how he fits in the linebacker depth chart, that linebacker room. Cam Bright, a guy that we talked about last week's episode with the senior camp review, taking the reins as the leader in that group. Really interested to see, again, how that breaks down and what sort of impact they play for this Husky team. I know that with the bore in and sort of some of the hype with it, I know it seems like some Husky fans are just kind of cautious. They're like, hey, let's see how it plays out before anything really, before we get ahead of ourselves. I would be cautious as well. I'm not saying that I'm casting a lot of doubt on DeBoer. I just want to see, this is going to be the first year, so he's trying to get the program in his vision, get his guys in place, get his system in place, get players that, he hopes to have for a couple of years. But with some of these grad transfer guys and some of these guys that are towards the end of their college careers, I'm wondering if that's not necessarily the case and that they're looking to win immediately. So please feel free to leave comments and leave thoughts and thoughts. Something I want to get better at is encouraging that, because I like having these discussions with people. With Circling Seattle Sports on Converge, having people be rude to my co-host is never something that I enjoy. I do enjoy, though, having these friendly conversations about these teams, because obviously, we're here to discuss these teams and do our best to steer away some of the misconceptions that come with our Seattle sports teams, but also at the end of the day, hey man, I'm 20, your host, Charles here. I'm a 20-year-old, I'm still a kid at heart. I still, with baseball, love baseball to death. Football, basketball, all of these, I love it. And, a lot of, before we got into doing any of this stuff with Circling Seattle Sports, was working in professional sports and just trying to find a way to get in and talk to people about it. So, please feel free to leave comments and, ask questions, have discussions. I'd love to do that. So that is it for UW football. Is we really kind of wait now until August to continue to see things build up for this program. We might see more transfers and commitments and such like that, and maybe hear some more. Might talk to Coach DeBoer, but other than that, we'll keep you updated, obviously. This has been another edition of Woof Wednesdays. Again, whether it's UW football, UW baseball, UW softball, you want to talk about any of the other UW teams, feel free to do so. We love to interact with anybody that views us here. Please feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, go follow us on social medias, Instagram, Circling Seattle Sports right here. Yeah, sorry, it just looks really cramped up there. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day. Do your best to make today a great day.